Hey y'all, I just wanted to discuss this McDonald's worker situation. Now, um, they're saying that the young lady who did the stabbing, she was already dealing with some mental issues on her page previously. However, the young lady kept saying that she was being bullied by her manager. Her manager was treating her some type of way, always sending her home, being disrespectful to her, letting her know that she had pulled a pum pum out on her children, just different things of that nature, right? So eventually the young lady got fed up, I assume. And when she got to work, things made her happen. She came back, then whatever, happened. She stabs the lady to death. Now, let me say this. It is a lot of times that managers, supervisors, and different things like that, directors, these people can have the up on employees, right? That does not give you the right to mistreat or bully an employee either. However, from the things that we saw on her page, she was doing TikToks at work, and you're not supposed to do TikToks at work. You're supposed to be working. Maybe her manager came back and said, hey, you can't be doing that. If you're going to be doing that, then I'm gonna have to send you home early. It could have been a lot of factors that went along with that, right? But it also could have been maybe she was on her break. Maybe she was. Maybe she was on her break, and maybe she was on her lunch and she was doing her TikToks. And maybe her manager just didn't want her to be at work, doing them at all. Okay. So if I'm on my break and I'm doing whatever I'm doing, that's my break time. That's my time. It's not your time. Right. So I'm not sure if that also could have played a factor. We don't know. Right. Because we were not there. But I want to say this. A lot of times there is sometimes where management is kind of bullying people because they know that they have the upper hand. And a lot of times companies are not reprimanding the managers and the supervisors the way that they should, who who are bullying other employees, because employees can go to HR and tell them, hey, this and that is happening. But guess what? The company is for the manager. The company is for the supervisor. The company is not necessarily for the employee, right? So if a manager is continually writing, documenting things or whatever, and the employee is not necessarily documenting, what is going to happen? What's going to happen is the manager is going to win that battle, and the employee is going to get fired. But if you're bullying someone and bothering them while they're knowingly doing their job, and they're not bothering you, and they're just coming in to do their job, maybe they don't do nothing extra. Okay. Because it is sometimes where they feel like, if you ain't doing nothing extra, I'm going to treat you any kind of way. You don't come here and put no work in to be really making it seem like it has to be this way or that way. You're not putting in that type of work. So sometimes managers will have like a little bit of an attitude or a disgruntledness toward the employee. Now, what the employee should have done was, yes, she should have went to HR. She should have been documenting what this woman was doing so that she could have proof that, hey, this woman has been bullying me. She's been treating me a certain type of way. She's been XYZ, blah, blah, blah. She would have some type of what do I want to call it? She would have some type of documentation to show that she was in the right for the things that was going on, right? And I don't want to say the right. I want to say that she was taking the right steps to have the manager reprimanded. Now, sometimes you can have all of that information, but guess what? They're never reprimanded. I have seen in instances where managers gang up on employees to get them fired. I have seen in instances where managers, I have seen them bully employees and have employees having breakdowns, mental breakdowns. When you are allowing somebody to come to work and you're always on their back and you're always criticizing their work, that is stressful. That is stress. You don't think that they're doing something right? Give them training. Put them in training. If they still are not doing it right, then you need to tell them, hey, we're going to have to let you go. But to continue to let them come into work because you need the help, to continue to let them to come into work and you keep picking at them, nitpicking or whatever, instead of you taking the right precaution to give them more training, then you're the problem. Because you don't know what type of stressful situation anyone is in. People are stressed out today. People are having hard times. And when you're having a hard time and you're stressed out, you don't know where your breaking point is at. Not to mention, sometimes some people are targeted. And I'm going to tell you something. Just looking at this young lady and looking at her page, she's a little different, right? So when you have somebody that's a little bit different, you're going to treat them like, you might be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know their personality. But because she's got red hair, all these different things, it does feel pretty demonic. Sometimes they have been picked at so much in school or just not just misunderstood, period, that it's gotten to the point where they're trying to, they want to be understood, but it's hard to be understood by society because maybe she doesn't act like the average young lady, right? Or maybe she doesn't wear the average things that young ladies wear, and she doesn't look like the typical girl that you were used to seeing. So maybe she looks like a hesher, or she looks like that she's into black magic, demonic spirits, or whatever that the case. So what are you going to do? You're going to treat them a certain type of way. I know this because my brother has uh his personality is not, he's a great guy, but his personality is it's not like a guy's personality that you just, he hip, cool, whatever. And he doesn't dress to impress. He's just a regular dude, and he doesn't dress to impress. But I'm gonna tell you something. Um, when he goes to try to get a job, when he goes to try to get apartments and things of that nature, they literally look at him like, we don't trust you, nigga. He wears a red rag on his head. Sometimes he'll have on like some little baggy sweatpants with some boots. Sometimes, and this done sometimes in the summertime, you know what I mean? So people looking at him like, what is wrong with this nigga? You know? Is he in a gang? No, he's not. But just the way he carries himself in a manner of, I just don't care, man. I'm just living my life. It's just not good enough. You're gonna treat a homeless nigga like a homeless nigga. You're not gonna treat him like a nigga that got money. You're gonna treat that nigga like he a homeless nigga. You're not gonna treat him with no respect. Right? So sometimes it's just that. It's just that I don't like the way she dressed, so I'm not gonna treat her with no respect. She looks like a loser to me. She just, so we have these stereotypes that we utilize to do little things that we probably shouldn't be doing, right? We know that we shouldn't be doing. But how about us in management or people in management? How about they be nicer to their employees? They respect their employees more. How about you listen to your employees more? And a lot of times people saying like, oh, she could have went and got mental help. People don't have money to pay for counselors. Yeah, you might get like the first couple of sessions for free, but then every session after that, Hey, that's $60, $70, sometimes $100, $90, whatever you need. Maybe she don't have that. Maybe she don't have. A lot of us are trying to heal ourselves on our own. Because why? We don't have the money. We don't have the resources to go and get counseling. A lot of times, yeah, they tell you, yeah, you get free counseling, free counseling. It's only free for so long until you have to start paying for it. And when you can't pay for it, your insurance is not paying for it, you don't have no insurance or something like that, then what? You're stuck doing it on your own. So I don't condone what she did at all. That is the wrong step to take, period. It is a lot of different things that could have happened. But at the end of the day, I definitely don't condone bullying. And when you see people in management doing something like that, bullying people, people need to step up. But they don't, because management, all managers are friends. This is my friend. We are in a clique. Those managers and supervisors, they be in cliques. And they will work against employees. I've seen it done. And it's unfortunate that someone had to lose their life. It's very unfortunate. But that's not the right way. So if you're being bullied at work, quit. Quit the job. Go to HR. Speak up. Say something. Document everything that's going on. Because at the end of the day, you could have a lawsuit for discrimination. So I think these companies need to be mindful of that, of the people that they're having to uphold their company. They could get sued. Sometimes you have someone that's being a manager, but she's a liability or he's a liability. Are you sure that they need to be a manager? Attitude, the attitude goes a long way. If you're a good manager, you're reasonable, guess what? People will want to work for you. They will come to work for you. They will do extra. They will do anything that you need them to do. However, if you're a piss poor manager, you will not get people to do a dang on thing for you. They don't care. They don't care. And at the end of the day, they come in and they say, I just come here to get my check and I go home. So that's all I have to say about that. I'm praying for the family who has lost their mom, because I heard that she left children behind. And I'm praying for the young lady who's now going to jail. I'm praying for her mental, because this is sad. So that's all I had to say about that. Let's try to be better um, people in general. Let's try to be better employees. Let's try to be better managers, because we don't know what's going on in nobody's life. And sometimes you can make a job so stressful that people don't know what to do. You know, it can be heavy on them every time they come to work. The environment can be very uncomfortable. So if you want people to work, then be a better manager.